Hello and welcome to this lesson where I'm gonna be talking about self-sabotage and ego and how they are correlated. So self-sabotage and ego. I'm gonna talk about three things, excuse me. Why ego creates self-sabotage, why growth triggers resistance. We feel a kind of resistant to go back to our old ways. Why the process removes the ego. So first things first, we are trying to become a better version of ourselves, right? We are trying to become a better trader, a better provider for our family, for ourselves, for our future, and we are trying to learn the skill of trading. So we're trying to better improve ourselves, basically. So we are trying to create a new version of ourselves. While something inside of us, the ego, is trying to keep us the same. There is this voice that we keep hearing over and over again that's trying to keep us back to our old habits and our old ways of being. Because when you trying to better yourself, the ego loses its job. Because the more you better yourself, this is the ego, the more you better yourself, the further away you will become from the ego. And that is what trading does. It really, really challenges your ego. Why ego creates self-sabotage. The ego wants control, not growth. That's the thing. If you want to become a better version of yourself in every endeavor, not just trading, your ego wants to have control of the old, overweight, lazy, not following through on keeping your word person, because that's the person that the ego has control over. They say the devil leaves the people that are lost alone. The people that are lost in life and don't know what they're doing, they're not improving themselves, they're not taking care of themselves, they're not improving their life in any way. The devil leaves them alone. Why? Because they are doing what the ego is telling them to do. They're not feeling the resistance. And the resistance is a way that Stephen Pressfield talks about this in Turning Pro. When you're ready to turn pro, when you're ready to grow up, I'm using this as a metaphor to take your life seriously. That is when you will face resistance. You're facing resistance when you're ready to take your life to the next level. You face resistance when you're ready to take your life to the next level. It reacts when you're trying to improve. It creates resistance to keep us the same. You know, you're going on a diet, you feel the resistance to, oh, should I eat candy? Should I eat sweets? Should I eat those things? And like something inside of you should say, no, I'm taking my life seriously. I'm doing this now. I'm eating healthy because I want to improve my life. And you will feel resistance more and more the closer you will get to your goal. The same thing with trading. Why growth triggers resistance. The closer we get to progress, the more resistance we feel. As I mentioned, we start doubting and overthinking. Part of us wants to go back to the comfort. The voice in our head that wants to go back to the comfort, I don't trust the voices in my head anymore because I know that there are voices coming from the videos I'm seeing, the audio that I'm listening to, the news that I'm hearing, the negativity or the positivity around the world. That is what's building my decision making. All right. So I don't trust the voice in my head. I trust a system that I've created. I do this, by the way, in anything. So I'm here just to inspire you with that. When I'm trying to teach my son how to ride a bike, I write an Excel file, I make videos, I make pictures, and I do a process that needs to be followed so he can ride his bike eventually. The same thing goes with diet. The same thing goes with trading. We keep saying this over and over again with the process, right? The process removes the ego. Because if we have a process, riding a bike, going on a diet, trading a system, if we follow it to the T, it removes the ego. Because the process gives us structure on where we are going. If we are keep doing the process, eventually it makes it inevitable for us to reach the goal. Because we will eventually reach that goal, whatever our goal is. So following it removes the need to control. The process replaces the ego. Because if you have as your baseline, base take profit hits in your trading, that you need to take a $250 a day profit, right? You see the market going to $250 and you're not taking your profit. And something inside of you says, you know what, it's just $50 until the 300 dollar point. So let's just wait $50 more. This is the ego. And you inside of yourself should say no. What does the process say? The process say that I need to take a $250 daily. You close the trade and you remove it. Why? Because that upsets the ego that you did it. Why? Because you are removing yourself from the need of something external. You're becoming a better version of yourself by doing this, by following through on the process. The truth is, the ego doesn't want us to grow. It wants us to stay where we are. It will say things like, "Who do you think you are trying to make this work? You can't do this. We've always failed in everything we've done. Let me distract you by tempting you with gambling, new strategies, the shiny object syndrome, chasing dopamine rushes, chasing women, chasing men, chasing alcohol and food, and forgetting our real process, why we are doing this. Not because it's right, it just hurts me to say these things. Not because it's right, but because it wants control. The ego wants control. When you believe those things about yourself, the ego gets happy. And we don't want the ego to get happy. We want the process to be followed through. So the solution here, we don't fight the ego. We don't need to fight the ego. We just replace it. That's how we do it. Because if you fight the ego, it feels like you're swimming upstream. We replace it. We we replace it with what? With the process. If we just like really, if we just trust the process and we just submit to it, you will get there. I promise you. Just follow your plan, stick to your rules. If we just, I'm gonna speak in we form because this is for me also. If we just followed our plan, we stuck to our rules without breaking them and executed without any emotions, even though, you know what, feel the emotions, but don't react to them because you have a process that we need to follow and we followed it through to the T, especially when we feel resistance. This is what took my trading to a whole nother level because as soon as I felt the resistance, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling resistance right now. Just because I'm feeling resistance, I'm gonna enter the trade even more, even harder. Why? Because that tells me that I'm on the right track. So let's recap a bit. The ego creates resistance when we try to grow. This is one of the 3 points that we took up or I talked about here in this lesson. The ego creates resistance when we want to grow. The ego doesn't want us to grow. I talked about the resistance shows up as self-sabotage, right? We almost we reach a level and somehow we find a way to break that something inside of us breaks the rules and we get back to level number 1 because we self-sabotaged by listening to the ego. Following the process removes the ego. The ego hates it that you're following the process over and over again because it knows if this soul, this person continues to follow the process, I will me as an ego will be out of business. That's why it hates it. So, lesson check-in. Take a moment. What made self-sabotage and ego clearer for you in this lesson? One sentence is enough. Feel free to share it below in the comment section below. And if you like this lesson, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, and join the school community. And I love it if you left a review or a comment on the YouTube videos. Um, I know it's annoying to leave a comment, but feel free to do it because that will help me, help the community, and it will boost the video to other people that needs to hear this. All right. Thank you for watching, and I see you on the next lesson. Take care.